All right, here we are live on Facebook. I'm sure enjoying this new Facebook Live with screen capture. Going to show you guys a cool tip this morning for those of you that are learning how to blog at a high level for business. And of course, I specifically teach real estate agents and the local business how to generate, well, it doesn't even have to be local. You can be national and do this too. How to generate more leads from the web. And so this morning I got up, and this is how I decide to share this stuff. Whenever I'm working on something myself and try something new and it works, I want to go out and share it with the world. It's just kind of this compelling passion that I have. And so if you are blogging or creating on-page website content of any kind, this video is for you. Or to pass on to your admins who might be blogging for you. Now, my personal belief, what I have open on the screen here, just so that you guys can see, is I'm actually optimizing a blog right now. So original content was all in text form. So all I had was a couple thousand words of text. And now I'm actually going in and optimizing the blog post to create a better user experience and to optimize for the search engine. So I'm working on both at the same time. Although typically if you focus on providing a great quality user experience for the person reading your blog, Google's going to reward you anyway. So it's less about old school keyword stuffing and whatnot and more about how do I create this great experience for the person that's reading my blog on my cell phone, on their cell phone, their tablet, or their desktop, right? And so let me show you this, and I'll show you a couple cool tricks while we're on here that you can take away as cool little freebies. When you're looking at a blog post, what you don't ever want to see is text on top of text on top of text with nowhere for the user to go. You want images and video and internal links and little pop-up things that get their attention and statistics and things like that. So what I do is I break down each paragraph one at a time, and I add these little things like internal links and page dividers and images and videos. And honestly, optimizing your blog post might take as long as writing the blog post did. In some of your cases, you're ordering content from other writers. I have other writers I use as well. And if I do use another writer that's submitting me all the content just in text form, I have to go in and optimize it, okay? So this is kind of the idea of how we optimize a blog post for that user experience. So if you put your own self in the mind of the customer that's reading your blog and say, if I were reading this, what would matter to me? What else would I want to know? Would I want to watch? Where would I want to watch a video now? Where would I want to click through to find out more information? And you also have to remember, I use heat maps. And heat maps measure, we'll have to do that on another call, but it's going to be so fascinating on another Facebook Live. I use heat maps to measure where people click and where people scroll. And here's what I can tell you. Up here is where you have all your attention, like in that first paragraph, the first and second paragraph. And once you start scrolling down is where you start losing people, okay? And you can see it by the color code. It's fascinating. So you want to make sure that at the very top of your blog post, you're immediately getting their attention. So I use things like tables of contents and internal links, which I haven't yet built onto this page, the table of contents, to get their attention, to give them some place to go. So let me show you a couple of these quick little tips here. Okay, so the first one, I love this, and I just started implementing this one this morning. You know how we do these internal links where basically in this first sentence it says making that last house payment to pay off your mortgage is a great feeling. All right, now you see this here in orange, this little orange, that is a link. So if the consumer clicks on that link, they go to a new page. Well, this can be a positive signal for Google, for SEO, when you build a really purposeful, cohesive internal link strategy. But it doesn't necessarily tell the user why they should click there. What is that going to do for them? And sometimes those clicks aren't so great. You know, I'll be on an article and I'll click through to something. I'll go, now, why did they just send me to that page? That makes no sense. I don't want to be there. I close out that window and I never go back to the original article. What we want to have is people going back and forth to pages on our own website and potentially an external website opening in a new tab when that makes sense as well, so that we have this valuable flow for them, okay? So here, when they click on making that last house payment to pay off a mortgage, watch this. If they go to click on it, this little pop-up box appears. Now, I don't know if you guys can see that very well on the Facebook Live, but the little pop-up box says, fun fact about mortgage payoff. Click the link to access article and scroll down to number 13. Now, when they click this is a prime example. If I had just linked to this article, they would land, and this article, by the way, is like 5,000 plus words long. They would land here and they would have no idea why they landed here. But because I gave them very specifics and said scroll down to number 13, and I could use a little anchor tag to shoot that down automatically as well, but let's just go, or anchor link. Let's just talk about it here. I've got this little quick tip on during the 1900s, people would burn their mortgage paperwork after their last payment. So it's meant to kind of entertain and inform and generate the click. It opens in a new tab so that I'm not losing them, but they know what it is. Okay, now here's another example. Some homeowners choose to live in their paid off homes while others are faced with the option of selling their current house. Now look what happens when I hover over it. Learn how to sell a house fast. Now, I have to believe that this is also going to be really positive for the search engines, because it's almost like you're putting in like we do with the images, with the alt text, putting a little description for them, okay? So this is creating a positive user experience, and it's also creating this little extra text with your link besides the anchor text directly that's there, okay? And so I'm going to show you how to do that. If we go over here to the blog post, it's going to look a little gibberishy at first, but don't worry about that. I am on WordPress, and for those of you that don't know, I have a marketing company that develops real estate websites, and this is called The Brew. So they are built on a WordPress platform, okay? Now, what we're using is short codes. Now, there's something called plugins, and when you install a plugin on your WordPress website, it adds functionality to your website. You have to be very cautious about which plugins you use, because they can significantly weigh down your website and slow it down. In fact, I had to deactivate one yesterday because it was causing us all kinds of issues. And for those that might want to know that have been following me, it was the WPSSO schema markup plugin. So I've gone back to the all-in-one schema right now to try to test those. And my developers are going to be building in our own schema markup, but we're still putting in some of those plugins. All right, so this plugin that I'm using is called Short Codes Ultimate. And if you go over here, let me just click this new tab and we'll type in Short Codes Ultimate. Hey, if you guys are there, say hey or something in the comment bar, because I can't, it doesn't look like I can see. Let me see if I can open this really quick. I want to see if you guys are typing in.
Say hey
hold
or
on.
something in the comment bar, because I can't.
Okay, let me turn that down. There we go. Type something in there so that I can just make sure if I can see a question. So tell me if you're there. I can see some of you guys, Tracy and Joanne, but I'm just looking for comments. Okay. All right, so you're probably just following along at this point. So Short Codes Ultimate is the plugin I use. If you click on that, there is a free version and there is a paid version, and I'll put my link into the video here as well afterwards. But most of what I'm using is free. There's some cool things in the paid, like a testimonial widget, which we'll talk about. But this is a really cool plugin. Okay, so anyway, all I have to do, let's scroll down. So the first part of every blog post I write is an intro or publish. Okay, so there's a little intro at the very beginning, and then I get into sections. So all of my blog posts have sections with a paragraph heading and then text. So that paragraph heading is very specific, and then it has text. So I start by optimizing paragraph by paragraph. So in this first portion, what I like to do is I like to have the title there. That's an H2 tag for those of you that are learning how to optimize, you do your on-page SEO. That's a heading tag, H2 tag, okay? And then I always put something in here. So this is going to be a video, an image, a statistic, a quote, an infographic, something like that. And I'm going to try to rotate them and make them different throughout the blog post, okay? In this case, I'll hit preview so you can see what it is. In my case, it's the Google Trends chart. See that there? Whoop, let me go back there. So on this page, all you see is these little media blocks, but here you can see the actual graph. Okay, and then after I do these, I do a page speed test to see if any of those embedded items are causing any kind of a lag, because it does look like that little chart per minute doesn't open quite as quickly as I'd like it to. So I might want to make that a graphic instead of a direct embed. Okay, that's another conversation. All right, so now what I'm going to do, I've already put that in. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to look for sections in the paragraph that I can put links, internal or external links to, okay? So I've already done this first part here. You can see these little crazy looking short codes, and I'm going to show you where those come from, okay? But I did not do here where it says, for example, in Nevada, we have seen a rise on searches for rental homes as inventory for first-time home buyers and the average 3-bedroom single-family home are limited. All right, so what I want to do is this 3-bedroom single-family home, I want to create that little pop-up that tells them what happens when they click on that link. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to get rid of that little text right now because we're going to put it in with a short code. Okay, so it was inventory for first-time home buyers and the average, and I did 3-bedroom single-family home. So up here, I'm going to click on Insert Short Code, and this opens the Short Code Ultimate box. Then I'm going to go down here, and I'm going to click Tool Tip. Okay. Now, I can choose what color I want the tip to be or style. You can play with these. YouTube, Tipsy, Bootstrap, JTools, Tip, Clue Tip. They all do something different. Okay. Then you can choose where you want that to show up, on the top, on the bottom, or to the left or to the right. Then you can choose whether or not you want it to have a little shadow, whether you want it to be square or rounded corners, the font size, so I could make it bigger if I didn't want it to be tiny like that. The tooltip title I'm skipping because what that does is it actually puts 2 lines. You can put that in here like click here or something like that, and then it gives 2 lines, but I'm just leaving mine blank. And then the tooltip content is, what do you want to pop up in that little box when somebody clicks on that 3-bedroom single-family home? So I'm going to put, see a list of 3-bedroom single-family homes for sale in Las Vegas, right? And then you can choose whether you want it to show when they hover over it or show only when they show and then hide by the mouse click, which doesn't make sense because you want to tell them what they're clicking on. So in this particular case, because we're doing this over click, we want it to be either on hover or always visible. I like mine to hover. So as soon as they kind of take that mouse and hover over that link just a little bit, then they get that option, okay? And then here, what do you want it to say wherever that tooltip's gonna pop up? So we did 3-bedroom single family homes. Now watch, I'm going to insert the short code, and right here it puts this little gibberish in here. It doesn't make sense to you until you look at it, okay? Now I also need to put the link in. So what I do is I highlight over 3-bedroom single family homes. I actually need to make sure there's a space, I think, between each one of those. 3-bedroom single family homes, and I'm going to come up here and click a link, and now I'm going to send them to the 3-bedroom homes for sale in Las Vegas page on my website that I've already created. So this is kind of like a little keyword search, and it's browsing my own website, and it's giving me a list of pages that I've created to link to put that link on there. So I'm going to do this one right here, this 3-bedroom homes for Las Vegas. I know that's the right page. I'm going to click that little blue arrow right there. Okay, now we're going to look at it. Okay, so remember, here was our little intro. And then here's the paragraph we're working on. Yeah, that little graph's not popping up quick enough, so I'm going to turn that into a graphic instead of an actual embed. And then down here, we did this. So here we go. For example, in Nevada, we have seen a rise on searches for rental homes as inventory for first-time home buyers, and the average, see that? See how that pops up? 3-bedroom, single-family homes. Okay, so here's what I'm finding. If we can keep that description short enough, it actually looks better, because the way it stacks is a little sloppy in my opinion. It's a little close and it doesn't give us a spacing option. So what I would do is I would just go back here. I don't need things to be perfect, but if I can see there's an obvious thing that could be better, I'll go back in and fix it. So if we find our little spot there on 3-bedroom houses, right here, and we go ahead and look at the short code, see a list of 3-bedroom single-family homes for sale in Las Vegas. I'm going to get rid of that see a list, and we're just going to put, let's try shop 3-bedroom homes in Las Vegas. We don't need all that. Oftentimes we can get by with saying less and meaning the same thing, right? In real life too. Okay, so then we're going to click preview. All right, if you guys are hanging around here, let me know that you're finding this valuable. It helps me to know. And by the way, the reason I do these Facebook Lives, this is a cool lesson. Now, I used to just make this video and put it on YouTube. Nobody was ever watching live, and I didn't really care at the moment who was watching live, because it's going to be fed out through the search engines, and we're going to embed it on a blog and that type of thing. But did you know that when you make a Facebook Live on your personal page, there is a little cheat or a little hack where you can open it in a kind of a mobile browser on your desktop. Then you can save that video, download it, and then you can upload it to YouTube. So if I'm going to make the video anyway, and I'm going to load it to YouTube anyway, I might as well go ahead and run a Facebook Live, and anybody that's actually on here can engage with me or ask questions while they're learning. So that's really the strategy behind that. All right, so that is how we do that hack, and I think I'm going to end right there today, because it doesn't look like there's a lot of engagement. Sometimes we'll do a Facebook Live and a ton of you guys are asking questions, and I'll keep going, and we'll optimize the blog, and we'll keep doing tutorials, and I'll show you how to add dividers and images, but it looks like maybe that's all your guys' brains could digest today. So I'm going to end it right there, throw this onto YouTube, and I will come back and show you some more cool optimization hacks. Just to remind you, this is a WordPress plugin, and this little tool here is called Tool Tip, and I'm using Shortcodes Ultimate to plug that in there. All right, thanks you guys. I appreciate you joining me.